Okay, so you've been outside. Okay. Okay, you've been outside.
I bring at least 14 pairs of underwear on every trip I go on. No, when you're gone for 2 months, bro, how often do you get to do laundry, really?
Only 14?
How long do you...
Felt that? Heavy.
Heavy.
Felt that heavy. Half a day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode of the Dream State podcast. I'm your host, KPV, and I'm so excited to be here and to be a part of this project where we're going to bring to light our immense music scene here on Guam and hopefully talk to other creatives about their journey. So just a little bit about me. I've been performing since 11 years old, and I just want to talk about my experience here on Guam and growing up in this scene and realizing that music is such a key element to our culture and lifestyle. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to gain so many friendships and connections and really learn that our scene here is really about community. We are here to support one another. We're all chasing after your dream. And it's so nice that I get to have this platform where I can talk to all you guys and bring in other guests and share their story about what it's like to be here in Guam. Music is a key element to our culture and lifestyle here. And I've been fortunate enough to gain so many friendships and connections and to learn that we are definitely a community. We are here to support one another. We are here to uplift one another. And I've always felt welcomed. I've always felt encouraged. And that was the most beautiful thing about growing up in this scene. But I can't deny that we also have friendly competition amongst all of us here with the amount of bands that are here on this island. And at least for me, it's a way where I get to push myself to work harder and to be a better version of myself as a performer, as a musician, as a vocalist. And yeah, that's another thing that I love about this island. And maybe we can move forward into talking about just a little bit of history of our Chamorro music. I am by no means a Chamorro music historian, but I'm just going to simply talk from my experience and what I've learned growing up, just being a little girl, a little 11-year-old girl, joining her first band and being welcomed into this community, like I said before. So I feel like I started learning more about our music when I was in middle school. As we know, or maybe not many of you guys know, but here on Guam, March is Chamorro month. So every March, we had Kantan Chamarita. And that is where the entire school gets to learn, have a school program of just all Chamorro music, all local original Chamorro music. And that was where I was introduced to artists like Johnny Sablon, Flora Bazaquan, the Compadres, J.D. Crutch, and Casey De Leon Guerrero, and many, many more. And from those days, those times, I was able to learn that our music is like a pool of just various genres, from cha-cha to batsu to jitterbug, and to even rock and roll in Chamorro music from the 60s all the way to the 90s. And then we lead up towards our modern music scene here, where now we have, of course, island reggae, we got R&B, we got indie, alternative, we got punk, we also got ska, and many, many more. And just like I said about our scene being a community, it's just so immense, where there's so many opportunities where an artist, a creative, can just have an outlet where they get to express themselves in any way that they want, any way that they enjoy. And Guam, at least for our scene here, from what I've learned, that we just continually grow and adapt. We love everything. We love anything and everything. We are open to anything. And we got many bands to show for it. And that's why I'm so glad that we have this podcast where I can bring so many of my friends and they get to talk about their experience being in a ska band or their experience being in an indie band and what it's like to be in that band in a world of where island reggae is just so popular. And that's just another thing that I love about Guam so much, is that it's just we're open, and we have so many listeners that are willing to show up to these shows, these homegrown shows, these local shows, and just be supportive of the movement, of any movement that anyone got going on. So yeah, that's just a great thing for me. That's another thing that I'm thankful for, thankful that I grew up in something like that. And to also just to be able to meet so many other musicians and other artists and get to hear their advice and their take on what it was like to grow up in this scene and find their way to share their music and just share their music and also be a representative of this island. I think that's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that I grew up in a place where music is so important and such a key element to our culture and who we are as people. So now for this next part of our podcast, I'd like to welcome our first guest ever. We have Kiko Yamashita, a homegrown local guitarist. Oh no, he's so ready. We also want to thank our friends here listening to us film this. Low-key making me a little nervous, but that's okay. That's okay. So,
Half a day, everybody. I'm Kiko Yamashita.
Half a day. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm a guitarist from here on Guam, from Windward Hills, Jotnya, and Agate.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I know you just came back from Fiji, from playing Fiji's Homecoming, and also from your Boots on the Ground tour, part 2. A total of like 9 shows, right?
Yeah, it was a short one.
9, yeah. So how are you feeling coming home after that run?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm ready to just be at home for a little bit. Get to play music here for, it's a nice switch up compared to, being on the road every day and then playing a new venue. There's just a lot of logistics and a lot of, there's a small physical toll on you, but it's all worth it in playing on the road. But it's nice to be here, I will say.
Yeah.
It's nice to be back.
So I saw some footage from Fiji. It was hard to escape that. It looked so magical. Can you talk more about Fiji and how it was like to be a part of Fiji's Homecoming?
Yep. I played in Fiji with the band Mo'oli. The lead singer of Mo'oli, Glenn, is a really good friend of Fiji. They grew up together. They've played music forever together. And because of that relationship that they have, I kind of got to have a relationship with Fiji myself. And seeing that and being there for his homecoming, his first time playing live in Fiji for over 40 years. And it was just like, just imagine, I don't know how to, he's a hometown hero. And coming back to all of his own people, watching him kill it, watching him sing all of the songs they know and love from the guy that they've looked up to, but just haven't been able to see live. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. I was definitely jealous because I love Fiji.
Yeah.
I love Fiji. So how many shows would you say that you've done just in like this year alone?
On Guam, I play 4 times a week. We play 4 times a week. We're in a band together. I don't know why we haven't talked about that yet, but yeah. We're in a band together. We play 4 shows a week. So I would have to say that on Guam alone, maybe, what month is it? October.
Yeah. I don't know how you're going to count that.
We've done, it's a lot of, 4 times a week, all the way up to October. And I've had to play maybe 60 plus shows with Mo'oli, not on Guam. One of them on Guam, actually. In July, we did a show on Guam. Yeah. But, about 60 shows off the island, and then even more here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then maybe let's talk about how we got together in a band and how we met and how we got to start playing music together. So, like I said, I started performing at 11 years old, and that's when I got to go to Mount Carmel, and I was chosen. I was able to be a part of the Mount Carmel Phoenix stage band. And I remember meeting you one day in the cafeteria. I had to perform in front of the entire school to let everyone know who is this new girl, this new lead singer of our band. So I remember I had to sing like 3 songs. What was your first impression of me as a vocalist?
Okay, I remember you singing "Paycheck" by
Jessie J.
Jessie J. Yeah, and you were like you had the confidence already in you. Like this is a brand new school for you, right? You came from another school. you're on a stage during lunch where everyone is just sitting in the cafeteria, and we were not forced, but forced to watch you sing. And it was like, oh, she's going to be our singer in the band. And you killed it. And, the rest is history. We played together. We've been playing together since you were 11. I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
Yep. And we still play together to this day.
Yep. And you're probably, not even probably, you're my longest teammate. We've been doing this for a long, long time.
More than half of both of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was a crazy day for me too, because I had to do that. I had no other choice.
How did you feel?
I remember I was asked to start that. How about you just perform a couple songs, just to let them know like we brought you here to be part of the band. And I was in a position where I couldn't really say no. Like, I was just like, I'm new here. I don't know the teachers here. I don't know the students here. I don't know if this is like a regular thing you guys do. So I was like, okay, let me just grab my iPod. Let me grab my karaoke from YouTube. And let me choose these 3 songs that I auditioned with. I auditioned with Paycheck, Jessie J, Rolling in the Deep by Adele. I don't remember the other song, but I think there was 3. But I remember Paycheck and I remember Rolling in the Deep. Well, yeah. Paycheck, because there was a rapping part. And even in my head, I was like, it's okay.
Okay, let's hear it again. 15 years later, let's hear it again.
No. Yeah, so maybe that was like it had to be 2011 when I first joined the Mount Carmel Phoenix Stage Band.
2011.
Yeah, that was your 8th grade year. So we really only had like 1 year in school to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we kept, even when I graduated, when everyone left Mount Carmel, like after 8th grade, we all still stayed together and we played together until I was a sophomore in college.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep, a sophomore in college.
Crazy. And I know for me, for Mount Carmel Phoenix Stage Band, that was the first time that I was really introduced to the discipline that is needed to play music and to be able to set aside time to just practice and learn these songs and perform here, perform there. How was that for you?
In the moment, I don't think I would want to answer that question, but now that those times have passed and I've looked back at those experiences, it's like that molded me. Like that's why I am who I am. That's why I feel like I have a really good work ethic when it comes to practicing parts for any kind of song, any genre. Just like what we did in Phoenix Stage Band, we played classic rock, we played jazz, we played Chamorro music, which was, like you said earlier, it's cha-cha, it's batsu. There's jitterbug aspect. There's a country aspect to Chamorro music.
Yeah,
and going into the gigs that I do today with you, where we play R&B, we also still play those Chamorro songs. And then like a group like Maoli, where it's a reggae, it's heavy reggae with also really heavy country inspiration. It's like playing those genres and having to be forced into playing like a lot of different music kind of helped me to be like
a well-rounded
guitar player.
Yeah.
And also the structure of how that band worked also forced me into being like a more mature guitar player than I should have been and I should be now today. Like I feel like I'm 26 years old, but I play guitar at least like a 30-year-old,
Yeah, we had to at least always in the band we had at least 3 guitarists and just having to try to find space to like where can you fit amongst the 3 of you. But I agree with all the genres that we started playing with, because as a vocalist, with different genres, I was able to take away so many different skills and different things from different singers. You're singing rock, you need the raspy, you need the emotion. You sing the jazz, you need the softness, you need the intent. Chamorro music, you're just...
Yeah. Back to what you said about having 3 guitar players. What really helped... So having 3 guitarists in one band is usually really tough. And it was tough at times. But... You have to find your space, and when you're supposed to play this part, that part, do they work together? But it really helped that the other 2 guitar players were like 2 of my best friends in Austin Regis and Cam Kanata, I was just on tour with. He plays for Fia, I play for Maoli, and Fia had opened up for us for those 8 shows, and having him there was like a full circle moment. We used to, do any kind of gig here on Guam.
Anything and everything.
Any kind of gig here on Guam, and then now we're traveling on the road, playing in front of, sold out theaters.
Yeah.
It's just, crazy.
Definitely for me, it was so cool to see, because then I think back of what we had to do and the gigs that we had to prepare for. It was just so much. And I remember at the time of being so young, for us being like high schoolers, middle schoolers, like we didn't really understand. At least for me, I didn't really understand the bigger picture of everything. It was just like in this moment, I got to learn this song. I got to learn this set. And just to see where we have grown and where you guys have grown and just been on that Boots on the Ground tour together, even alongside of Nate Titano, who's also from Guam.
Guam drummer, shout out.
Just shout out. I think it was so cool that there was literally 3 Guam boys in that run. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I definitely was very proud of all of you, proud of just the work that you guys are doing. And it's just like a inspiration that we can do this. We can do this. Yeah. And it's in our blood. It's in our culture. It's the way we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guam's small, but the world's not that big, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then maybe, because also alongside that tour, it took a lot of sacrifice of leaving home and leaving...
You?
Yeah, basically. But leaving home, but that also like brings me back to Phoenix Stage Band, because that was like also the first time for me where I really had to learn the things that I had to sacrifice. Like it was such an eye-opener for me that I couldn't just attend this family party or go to my friend's birthday party or just like, oh, my friends are going to the mall. Maybe I can go. Nah, sorry, you got band practice. So how was that for you? Because I know you started with sports, right? You played sports before you really started getting into music.
Yep, that was kind of a smooth transition, because like thankfully my coaches in baseball were like really good friends of my older brother and of my parents. So it was like they understood, like my mom made it clear, like this is what he's doing right now. So you're gonna have to, you're just gonna have to deal with him missing a few sometimes, or just have to kind of adapt to it. Yeah. And like I remember one of the last off-island baseball trips I went on, I bought one of my first like real giggable guitars.
Crazy.
And yeah, that kind of like, how ironic is that on my last trip, I bought this really nice guitar, and eventually I'm not traveling for baseball anymore. I'm traveling for using that guitar that I bought.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you said your mom played a role in like making that decision or helping you make that decision of he's going to be missing this practice, missing that practice. How about for you? Did you want to miss those practices?
No, not at the time. My mom didn't play a role in making that decision. She made that decision.
Okay.
I'm so grateful for that decision she made, though.
Respect.
Yeah,
me
absolutely.
too. I'm grateful for that decision. Yeah, I'm grateful for it too. Yeah. And maybe also, did you ever have like a realization of like, wow, I can't commit to all of this. Like I have to choose one or the other. Did you ever like have to stop and be like...
When I was younger, I didn't have that realization, no. But later on in life, when I was already an adult, already playing gigs that I chose to play, playing gigs that I booked myself. I started to realize that those decisions my mom made for me before were kind of shaping me into being that mature adult, mature musician, mature professional, where I need to make those like fine lines. Like you don't double book yourself. You don't, there are some things that you have to be able to take away a little bit of yourself to focus on what's actually important in sometimes paying your bills or in sometimes becoming a better guitar player. And
Felt that. Heavy. Felt that heavy.
Heavy hitters, you fuckers.
I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Clutch Music team. If you guys didn't know, they will be hosting their first ever concert, Island Fills in the Hills, featuring The Green. It's going to be on January 18, 2025 at the Leo Palace Resort. Get your tickets at clutchmusic.com and we hope to see you there. So I know we talked about in Phoenix Stage Band, we played classic rock. We played everything, basically everything. Classic rock, R&B, funk. And that was my introduction to some of those genres. But then I want to get into like, what was the music you were exposed to growing up before Phoenix Stage Band? Like what was the music that was playing on your radio, or you wake up in the morning and what was being played?
I was a product of hand-me-down Nokia cell phones. So whatever my sister or my brother had on that phone is kind of what I listened to.
Yeah.
Unless I was getting it, right? Bluetooth, when you would Bluetooth somebody a song and it would take like 5 minutes, but you'd get it. But
Actually, no, I can't relate. I'm kind of younger than you, so I can't relate to that.
Okay. Well, I had, in my phone, I remember having, I had a bunch of Catch a Fire songs, which is crazy because nowadays I'm not really like an avid reggae listener.
Yeah.
And all throughout like childhood, I wasn't really an avid reggae listener. But Catch a Fire, even before that, we had CDs in our car, and I loved this band called Dispatch. This band Dispatch, and they're like, they're a really indie acoustic but upbeat kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's even hard to just explain what kind of genre they are because it's so different. I really liked AC/DC growing up. Like that was any kid, if you even like today, kids just for some reason like rock and roll, like classic rock and roll. It just pumps them up, that's what it did to me.
Yeah.
Eventually I grew out of that, and then eventually I started really enjoying R&B. I love the guitar playing in R&B, whether it be like, 80s R&B. They wouldn't even call it R&B at the time.
Yeah.
It's like like Earth, Wind and Fire or Ambrosia, but that's like at its roots, that's R&B music, and that's what I ended up loving. And being able to fit that R&B style of guitar into like our gigs where we're playing a Chamorro song, or we're playing where we're playing either Chamorro music, or we're playing, an actual like a new R&B song, like a SZA song, or even when I'm on the road with Maoli and we're playing country reggae music, but I'm fitting these little R&B licks in it, and that's all because I fell in love with that kind of music growing up, like in high school, middle school, and even in just walking around with headphones when I first got to college.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about, I know you also really, really love Red Hot Chili Peppers. I've actually, like, before you, I don't think I've ever met anyone of my friends or my family that enjoyed listening to them too. So you were like the first person to really introduce me to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's another hand-me-down situation. My sister and my older brother loved Red Hot Chili Peppers. I remember the first time I listened to Stadium Arcadium, which is like one of their goated albums.
Yeah.
I remember just being like, holy cow, like I wasn't used to hearing music where I could play that. I felt like I could play all three parts. I could play the drum part, I could play the guitar part, and the bass part. I just couldn't sing it, but
yeah, yeah.
But like, and then later on, when I actually matured as a musician, I realized I can't play it like them, but I can play those parts, which is why it's inspiring for all kinds of people. Why everyone loves the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Why I love them. It's because it's like they're so different, but relatable and funky and like hardcore, but
and real.
Yeah, and real.
And real.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, growing up, I was always exposed to funk, and like my dad loved Michael Jackson. I feel like growing up, that was the only thing I remember him playing, or like Rick James.
Yeah.
Rick James. What song is that? Oh, I don't remember. But then I feel like the only time I was really listening to reggae music was just at family parties. That's just always the go-to.
Yep, that's what everyone listens to. And honestly, it's a vibe though.
No, it's a vibe.
Yeah, when you're at the beach.
When you're outside.
And the first person on the aux plays Kaloi Kai, it's like, good move, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Good move, Shandu.
And then, Michael Jackson. But then I would listen to reggae at the family parties. But then coming home, my dad would instantly put on Michael Jackson. And I just grew to love him so much. I remember when he died, I was like 9 years old. But I didn't understand the importance of him until he died. When I was watching his casket being pulled out of the place, and I was like, we don't got him no more.
He's one of the only two celebrity deaths I remember like growing up. Michael Jackson and Pope John Paul II. I swear to God, I came home from school and I'm at my Uncle Victor's house, which is right next to my grandma's house, where all of my cousins my age would go to, and we were just sitting in the living room, and we were forced to watch as the white smoke would go up. There's something in when the Pope dies. I think the white smoke symbolizes there's a new Pope chosen or something.
Yeah.
And we're all just waiting for that.
Yeah.
We were just watching like, oh, Pope John Paul II died. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, what's next? I remember when Michael Jackson died, like in our household, we only had one computer. and I would just hog it, and I would just watch Michael Jackson music videos all on YouTube. And a core memory of mine is when my mom was like talking to someone, and she was like, yeah, like she loves Michael Jackson now, but like, what are we gonna do? Like he literally just died. Like, he just died, and now like I don't know what else to do for her. And for my dad, he always, in our household, Michael Jackson was Nino. That was my dad's Nino. So it's like, Nino died. Like, what am I going to do now? But I remember the Thriller music video would scare me so badly. As a 9-year-old, like, I would make sure to like turn my head away when it was in the MTV music videos and Thriller came up. And I was like, nah. We ain't doing that tonight.
My parents, for some reason, like they don't go to the movies. They're old, older than most people our age's parents. But for some reason, they took my whole family to the movies, and we watched the Michael Jackson's "This Is It." And I felt like we were the only ones in the theater because it was so late. But they made it a point to go watch that movie, and that like speaks. I don't know. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
To me, that's crazy because we never went to the movies together because my mom would fall asleep, and then my stepdad would be talking the whole time. So.
Nightmare.
Oh my God.
Uncle
Jim, Kaylee loves you.
Cut. Maybe let's move towards like, do you have like a memorable gig from Phoenix Stage Band or like a fave gig from that time?
Yep, for sure. The closing ceremonies of FestPac 2016.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
Yep. We did this whole like music medley with all the, I won't say all because there's some that weren't there, but like some of the goated like Chamorro musicians, including Johnny Sablan, Jesse Bias, Jesse and Ruby.
Yeah, Flora Bazaquan.
You know, Mr. Sam Bill Sarmiento didn't perform with us, but he was a goat there, and he is right behind the stage because he was our teacher.
Yeah.
Yep, with the compadres.
Yeah, that was a big moment for me too. But see, at the time,
we had no idea. We had no idea the scope of what we were doing.
I had no idea,
and we didn't. You know, in some ways, we may not have really taken that to heart, but now I swear I do. Yeah. It was amazing.
I don't even think I knew what FestPac was before we played it. I just remember we were told we get to be the band to play for the opening ceremony and closing ceremony. It's going to take so much work, but this is ours.
It's like the Olympics of the Pacific. Like, it's that big. Yeah. It was crazy. And we had no idea.
FestPac was also the first time where we were playing multiple days, like day after day after day. And before that, I never used to think like, oh, I can do that. I can get ready for a gig every day and play 2 sets. And we got to meet a lot of people and also for me, introduced to a lot of different cultures. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That closing ceremony was magical. Yeah. What was Jesse's song again?
He did a couple, but the one that we're talking about is Unu Hit.
Yeah, Unu Hit.
Unu Hit, which translates to "We Are One."
Yeah, that was a moment.
And that was like in that moment when the entire Pacific was there, and we sang that "We Are One." It felt like one.
And we had all our culture dancers just on the field of Paseo.
Mm-hmm. Unu Hit, Zanitano, Itasi, Iatdao, Zanilangit. That's
period.
100%.
Period. Viva. Yeah. No, yeah, that was a cool moment for me too. I think also for me, a core moment was Kool and the Gang. When we opened for Kool and the Gang, what grade were you?
I was a freshman, so you were in 7th grade.
Okay, 7th grade. Yeah, that was my first time ever opening up for a concert. Mm-hmm. And before that, I don't think I ever went to a concert, so I didn't understand the magnitude or just how big a concert can be. And it was at University of Guam Fieldhouse. And I just thought, it's just a regular gig. This is my new band. Like, we just do this, we just do this. We just play. And I remember after that really solidified for me that I want to be a frontman, that I want to be a performer, I just like doing that. Like, I am local Hannah Montana. Like, that was the moment where I'm like, yeah.
Hannah Montana?
Also, another one was the Pepsi Gala for me. The last one we did.
Yeah.
Because that's when we were tasked to make the mashup of just all the iconic Pepsi commercials and campaigns.
Around that time frame, that's when we had started 4 for 4, our band with George Aquino, the late great George Aquino, Jace Sarmiento, and Austin, who's also in the Phoenix Stage Band, Austin Regis. And then eventually we picked you up
Yeah.
Like after maybe only 4 months of 444 being a thing, you had joined the band.
Yeah.
And then it changed the whole dynamic of it. But that Pepsi Gala where we had to arrange it ourselves, and I guess I was kind of taking the lead at the time. Eventually with 444, I did have like a group where we had a group where like we were the lead. We were, it's just us. There are 5 of us, and this is what we do. And someone has to take the lead, whether it be Jace or whether it be me, or ideas that would come from you or Austin or George. And it was like that's another reason PSB was just like a precursor to all of the things we're doing now. And it really taught us, like, it taught me, I won't speak for anyone else, but it taught me like this is what music can be. And this is what it can start as and go into something else.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was ready for it at the time, but that was us getting ready. That was me getting ready for where we are today.
Same here. It definitely was so much work, but it definitely did mold us into realizing that this is going to take so much work, and it's going to take so much discipline. It's going to take so much sacrifice to be able to just say, I want to continue to do this and play the best that we can, not just be mediocre, just whatever, we missed that chord and that's okay. Like, we were really taught like, nah, this or that.
Yep.
Yeah. And then for 444, that was my introduction to nightlife here on Guam. Was it for you?
Not really. It wasn't my introduction. It was my introduction to the live music scene.
Okay.
Of like the bar culture and the club culture. 'Cause we were playing in.
Okay, so you've been outside. Okay. Okay, you've been outside.
I was already like not outside. Okay. I was already like, into the actual like the bar club music scene. Hey, keep it down over there. Huh? So speaking of 444, like we were already a thing for at least like 4 to 6 months. We were a band already, and so I had already seen what like the club and playing in clubs and playing in bars like Live House or Venue. I saw what that was like, but when we brought you in, like I remember our first time was just having you come jam like a Paramore song or something, and then eventually you came and joined up, and we started doing SZA. We started doing like Tamia. Yeah. What was that like for you? Like getting out of the kind of like real structured shell kind of like fancy ballroom stuff that we would do at PSB, and then go straight into like the bar scene, like where people are literally just there to watch music and to have a good time.
I definitely was kind of not maybe in a way culture shock, because that's in itself like that's
you
a
weren't
culture.
even old enough to drink. Like,
Yeah,
neither
yeah.
was I actually at the time.
God, no, I was like definitely culture shocked because, I think before we played in 444, I never been inside a bar or even went inside a club or did anything like that. So I was also being introduced to the way people are in that situation of drinking and socializing. And for the galas, like we were the entertainment, but it wasn't like we set the immediate vibe. Like we are in charge of creating the vibe for that place. And for the bar, I remember thinking like, I just definitely was culture shocked. I was just like, wow, like this is what people do. And
you helped set that vibe. Like that was like when you came in, 444 was just like totally changed. It changed our repertoire. We could start to do hip hop songs where female hooks.
Yeah.
And then, George would go back to rapping.
Yeah. But I also felt so comforted in a way because it was just 4 guys. Like no matter what happened, I knew I was protected. Like everyone got my back, and I was just there to just be a part of the band. And it definitely was I was 18 years old too, just fresh out of high school. So I was like, this is what people do on Friday nights and Saturday nights. Like there's a choice where you can come to the bar and play. I was just culture shocked, but eventually got comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because that was the way of seeing other bands perform and seeing how the nightlife on Guam works.
That was a big thing. The first band I saw outside of what we would do with Phoenix Stage Band when I went to a bar was after a 444 rehearsal, and we went and watched the John Deng show. And I remember it was at Live House, which is the first venue 444 had gotten booked, but we didn't even know we were going to play there yet.
Yeah.
But we went to watch the John Deng show. They used to play Saturday nights, and it was like I was like, holy cow, this is cool. Like,
Yeah.
this is what like playing music for, I won't say for a living, because that's not what everyone else did. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But this is what like playing music in a setting where people are just coming to watch you, coming to have a drink, coming to like they know Saturday night is for the John Deng show. At the time, Thursday night is for 4 for 4. Saturday night, we can go to the same spot and watch a band play all of their original music of like, I categorize them as like Cali reggae with island flavor and rock flavor. And then on a Thursday night, they could come to the same exact venue, which was Lifehouse, and watch us play. And we were playing like actual R&B with actual hip hop,
yeah.
like classic hip hop.
That was also my first time ever playing like hip hop or being a part of a band where hip hop was like the main genre. Because also before George, I don't think I've ever listened to anyone rap live.
Yeah, me too. I forgot about Dre, like one of our best like performing songs. I had never heard it until we were at a rehearsal and they're like, hey, why don't we try this? And I was like, what song is that? And they're all like, you don't know. Dun, 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 ding, ding, ding. I was like, no, I don't know this, but I'll learn it right now and we'll try it out. And all out of nowhere, George started rapping it word for word. And I was like, holy shit, this guy can freaking rap.
Yeah.
And then we became a hip hop band.
Yep. And that also opened the gates of just hip hop music for me too, because I didn't listen to rap. I was more like R&B, like girl power, like just the girlies. I just listened to the girlies.
Back to Hannah Montana.
Yep. And no one in my household listens to that kind of stuff too. So it was such a refreshing moment for me because I was like, wow, like this can be played. And the reaction and the reciprocation we got from the audience, it was also so good because like everyone loved it.
Yeah, for me that band 4 kind of even brought me closer to my older cousins, because like, you know, they liked Phoenix Stage Band because of how like we were just like a really talented set of kids.
Yeah.
But then when we started playing 4 for 4 in bars and clubs, they would come like and be like, holy cow, Kiko does that.
Yeah.
And his band plays that. Like, we haven't seen that in either ever or in a long time, or never had the opportunity to even see it at all.
For sure. Phoenix Stage Run was definitely for the parents, you know? Like, it was definitely for the parents. Yeah. Same thing with me, where I was just introduced to just that generation of just our generation, maybe a couple years before us, of that's just what they like to listen to. That's what they were exposed to. And that's what they grew up on. And before that, I just thought of classic rock and cha-cha, Chamorro music. Like, yeah. 4 for 4 was just such a eye-opening thing for me too. Because for Phoenix Stage Band, I was the lead singer. I was the front man. With 4 for 4, I was kind of like the secondary singer. Mm-hmm. So I also had to learn to like step back. And I'm in a band where I'm not the main focus, or maybe not focus, but like, I don't know how to word it.
Yeah, you weren't the lead singer. We had a lead singer, and his name was George. Yeah. But for some, like, Jesus made it happen where, like, you guys had never even met before you went on stage together. Yeah. And your voices ended up being perfect together. Yeah. Like, he's a big guy that has he can rap, but he has the voice of an angel too. And then when you guys sang together, it was, oh my goodness. Yeah. I miss him. That was crazy.
I do too. Yeah. I do too. You just ended up watching Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, I watched Anderson .Paak live at Red Rocks.
You watched Anderson .Paak, and I think before you, I never listened to Anderson .Paak, but you FaceTimed me when you were at the concert, and it was a song that we played in 4 for 4.
Now that I think about it, the only reason I like Anderson .Paak was because George and Jace had texted the chat being like, yo, let's play this song. And then they sent his Tiny Desk concert. Yeah. Then I watched the Tiny Desk concert and I instantly became a fan. Yeah. That album Malibu is still my favorite Anderson .Paak album. Yeah. And it was off of that. And George would Anderson .Paak plays drums and raps and sings at the same time. Yeah. George would go to the drum set, play drums and sing. Jace would get off the drum set, go to the bass. Austin would go get a drink. and then we'd play that song just like they would do it on the Tiny Desk concert. Yeah. And
I never told you though, but after the FaceTime, because you were like, sorry, I need to watch this. I need to watch this live, which I respected that. Yeah, at the concert. But then after you hung up, I heard the song and I instantly started just like tearing up because it just reminded me of George and just like playing that song. And in 444, that was also a way for me to not feel so much pressure. Growing up with Phoenix Stage Band, I just felt so much pressure that I had to do this, I had to perform this way. And for 444 allowed me to just like step back and just see what the scene was like and see how people reacted and how do people like receive you in the nightlife, at least from our gigs.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I also really, really enjoyed 444 because once I got off stage, I could just play some games on my phone.
So from going to like 444, and then I remember right before COVID, like everyone in 444 kind of got busy, and we had made a decision to start like while 444 was still a thing, because people were getting busy. The band couldn't be as busy because people were getting jobs and stuff, and then we started. You became KPV.
Yeah.
And then we had your band called The Homies.
Yeah.
With RJ Ugin, RJ Barcinas, and Zach Kinata.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a single gig lined up or anything.
Yeah.
We just started jamming over at Marca Musica in Harmon.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we were a group. We were your backing band and you were a lead singer of your own band.
And that was
what was that like?
That was such a COVID fever dream for me. Because like it just happened so fast.
It happened right before COVID. And then COVID hit and we didn't do anything about it. And then right after COVID is when we actually started playing gigs.
Yeah.
But like for some reason it just happened.
But even when we first started jamming, it was more so like we didn't really establish what this was. It was just like, hey, we just want to play together. We just want to see where this goes. And for me, starting KPV and the Homies, I don't know. I've always just been a lead singer. And maybe it was just such a moment for me because that's when KPV was like born. I decided I want this to be my stage name. And I've always gravitated towards the sound of my initials. That's what KPV is. That's just my initials. And I just love the way it sounded. I feel like it commands. No, never mind.
Whoa.
Never mind. I just like the sound of it. I thought it sounded like powerful. And also my name Kaylee, like I don't want that to be coming up on stage, Kaylee. I'm good. So I liked KPV, but KPV and the Homies was it was so fun because I was also able to choose the music that I wanted to sing. Like all of you allowed me to just be like, okay, you get to choose this or that. So I got to throw in some pop. I got to throw in, of course, SZA. We were introduced to SZA for 444. I got to do Anne Marie. Everyone loves our cover of 2002 by Anne Marie, which I didn't think at the time. Even when it was out on the radio, I remember like being so sick of the song. I was like, nah, get it out. I'm done. Turn off the radio. But then it wasn't until I watched her live performance of it and I realized what a powerhouse vocalist she was. And I was like,
yeah, you're the one that brought that song to the set list.
Yeah. And I was like, I want to be that too.
But with when we started KPV and the Homies, we were also playing like really weird, not weird, but for a common ear, like we were playing Hiatus Coyote, like stuff that's really difficult to play, difficult to sing. Like it's nowhere near pop. It's like jazz fusion, neo soul, and it's like that also made all of us better. Even though we don't play that specific genre now, but when we first started, we were playing stuff like that.
Yeah, and
it made us like tighter, just trying to get those.
Yeah,
trying to get those hits all together, trying to like absolutely outrageous chord changes and
yeah. For KPV and the Homies, that was really a moment where I was like, okay, we need to step up the vocals. Yeah. We need to step up the vocals, and we chose music that really forced me to be like, okay, girl, got to get those chops in. And I was able to learn so much about the vocalist that I wanted to be, and the vocalist that I continue to grow into, because there's still so much time. Pray to Jesus that there's still so much time to grow up as a vocalist. Yeah. And that's when we started doing gigs, because I also got very comfortable with being in a 444 and having George there. So like majority of the set was his. Yep. And then I come in for like 2 or 3 songs in the set. But KPV and the Homies, it was like, no, girl, like you're on there for the
This is your
whole
show.
time.
That's
Yeah.
your show.
Yeah. It was such a pivotal moment for my music career of like, okay, I want to step up as a vocalist and I want to do better. I want to sound better. I want to control myself better and also play. I was able to really play. You guys are such a solid backing band among like individually. And I was able to really play and just adapt to just all of that. Yeah. So then that leads to KPV and the homies started getting concert gigs. And we had our first one in 2021, Indigo IMF.
Yep.
And that's when Molly came. And that was the first time I ever watched them. And that was the first time of, like I said, I watched them. We got to open up for them. And that leads to where now you play a role in the whole Molly family. I hope I'm saying that right.
Molly.
Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe how about you talk about your experience of watching them or like meeting them or getting your...
So we opened up for them. We had worked really hard. We worked like I remember, I'll attest to this. We were at rehearsals and the band was playing. We were in RJ's house in Gannett Heights. We were practicing the set, and you would be literally doing jumping jacks, high knees while singing the set, just trying to condition yourself to be able to perform as good as you wanted.
Yeah.
So all of that hard work we had put in ended up making it possible for us to play really well at the show. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of the other guys in the Molly band were, they would even, usually when we play, like nowadays, unless we're like really well rested, we won't really go out to watch opening bands all the time. And like, unless it's either homies or people that we're kind of like, we hear about, like, oh, those guys are good. But if we're like exhausted from a show the night before, we won't really like make it an effort to go out. They made it an effort, especially my homie Josh Namba, the other guitar player. He came out and watched our set, put us on his YouTube channel, like everything.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we're on. He did a Guam vlog, and we're like a fat section of his vlog.
Oh.
And then we had played a total of 3. No, they played 3 shows. We played 2 shows with them.
Yeah.
We played the concert, and then on the following, was it either Sunday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
We played the after party, which was at Riga, the old Sheraton.
Yeah.
And that's after our set, they went up and they played. And I had, for some reason, we played 3. We played 3 shows together.
Did we?
We played IMF, and then we played Brandon Sanchez's wedding.
That's right.
Brandon
that's
Sanchez,
right.
the firefighter, our homie Brandon Sanchez, shout out.
Hey,
played
shout
his
out
wedding.
for real. Shout out for real.
Probably wouldn't be possible without you, my boy. Played Brandon Sanchez's wedding, and then we played the after party. And then me and Josh had already like just said what's up, and we're like, guitar geeking about each other's gear.
Yeah.
And then after the after party, after both of our sets, we sat down and we had a pretty decent, a really nice conversation actually. And we had kind of gotten to know each other, exchanged Instagrams just to keep in touch because we were both fans of each other.
Yeah.
And then,
cool.
Later on, in last year, 2023, in April.
It's only been last year.
Yeah, I've only been with Molly for like a year and a half now.
Crazy.
But they, he had hit me up and he said they needed a guitar player, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
And here we are.
I went on tour. Yeah,
Here we are.
and I'm so grateful for that opportunity that not just Josh gave me, but the whole band, because they have to make that. They can be like, nah, not that Guam boy, not that little Japanese boy from Guam.
not him.
They don't have to let me in, but they did. They gave me a chance, and I was just thinking I was going to do that one tour and then come home and they were going to find a Hawaiian guy to play guitar because they're all from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then so I was going into it thinking, okay, I'm going to show them exactly what I can do. I'm going to play as best as I can. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to show up to the first rehearsal and know every single note of my parts. And sure enough, the hard work I put in after the first rehearsal, the manager had, our manager Reggie, the Molly manager Reggie, had talked to me and he said, hey man, so we have these Hawaii shows in July. And our tour that we were doing, the May tour, hadn't even started yet.
Yeah.
And he already started talking to me about playing for them in July.
Yeah.
At the Waikiki Shell, which is the biggest venue in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Yep, and then the rest is history. Those guys are my brothers. Those guys are my bradas,
Yeah.
my parlalas,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, and then full circle. Just earlier, a couple months ago, we got the news that we were gonna play on Guam, and I was the absolute happiest person in the world to bring that family that I made out there. And the guys that brought me in, I wanted to bring them to my home and play in front of my people.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. In front of all my friends, the friends that are here right now.
Yeah.
My family, everybody. Yeah, that was amazing. That was like one of the highlights of my musician career. 100%.
So far. Yeah. I was just about to ask you, like, how did it feel bringing that show home?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And that was also like your first headlining set, being a part of the headliner for a concert, because we've just opened up. We've opened up for people, but that was your first time being a part of the band where like you're headlining, like everyone is coming for you guys. Yeah. So yeah, did that like heal a part of like your inner child?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, man, I can't say it like I'm not fulfilled. I can't say I'm fulfilled because one of my goals in life in life, because it's music is who I am. A guitar player and just music in general is who I am. And my goal in life is just to play the biggest stages and have the most fun and play with really talented people that I enjoy playing with, that I enjoy as people, that I love. And so it's not done yet. It's not done yet, but that was definitely a highlight, 100%. For sure.
Yeah, from my perspective of just the whole Molly experience for you, of course, they took away my guitarist. So it's like, whatever. I guess I got to adapt.
Only for 5 months out of the year.
Yeah, only. No, but I think for me, just knowing like where we started and where we came from and just seeing how hard we all worked, I just knew it was deserved. You know, there's a part of me where it's like, you know, that the time comes. That was also another moment for me where I was like, you know what? When the time is right, it'll come. It'll come. So just continue to keep working hard and doing what you love and just showing up for yourself. Because that's also too when you start doing your content. You started popping off with the content.
That's actually how me and Josh got back in contact, because like I said, we had each other on Instagram, and then I don't even remember exactly why I decided to make a video every week on Instagram of some kind of video that would either just be a vibe on guitar or showcase what I can do producing, playing multiple instruments, producing a whole track, having a guest singer. You sang on a couple videos.
Yeah.
Jed was on a video. Frankie McJohn was on a video. Jonah Hanum was on a video. Yeah. And I had just decided to pump out a video week after week. And it just so happened, Jesus made it possible that's also when the Molly boys were kind of looking for a guitar player. Yeah. And because I was posting regularly, I was on the top of feeds. And I was on theirs.
And the time aligned. Mm-hmm. The time aligned. That is Jesus. For real.
For real.
For real. I mean, even before you came home for the Haflahoa concert series with Molly, you just finished was it just 40? 40 shows?
We did 42 shows.
In the span of like 2 months.
2 months, yep.
Yeah, you were gone for 2 months.
Yeah, I was gone for 2.5 months because we had rehearsals first. And then, transit back is not always the easiest. Yeah.
And that was probably like your longest time being on tour.
Yep. That was my longest time being away from Guam, period.
Yeah.
And that was a grind. Mm-hmm. But when you're with guys that you really get along with, guys that are your family, the whole crew is a family. Yeah. It was all worth it. And we were playing for people all around the US. Literally we made an entire round of the US. Yeah. Including 2 cities in Canada, Vancouver and Toronto. Yeah. But the craziest part, like that tour opened my eyes to it, because we played 42 shows and there wasn't a single show where I didn't see a Guam shirt or a Guam flag. There were Chamorro people everywhere. And most times they'll make it a point when they see, I always rep the island. I got either the necklace on or I have a bunch of pins on my guitar strap that have Guam on it, or crowns, the boys, long live, opaque stuff. Yeah. And they'll see that and they'll make it a point to either stick around after the show, or even before the show, they'll run into me and they'll be like, hey, you're from Guam. You play for Mo'oli, right? I saw you on their Instagram. I saw you on whatever. Yeah. And it just felt like I said earlier, Guam is really small, but the world is not that big. And there are Chamorros all over the place. Yeah. Even in Fiji, I met a Chamorro person. I don't remember your name, but I met a Chamorro person in
Hey.
Fiji. And I hope to meet a Chamorro person in American Samoa in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'll be there in American Samoa playing a concert with Maoli.
What are like some of your biggest like lessons or takeaways from being on tour, or do you have any advice for musicians who aspire to go on tour? Any tips?
Definitely professionalism. Professionalism is a thing. Like that is a big part. You have to like if you're there to do a job, if people want you to do one thing and they're your employer or they're either, your direct superior, and then, I know no one wants to hear those terms when you're talking about a band, but that's really what it is.
Yeah.
People are hiring you unless you're making the band yourself. People are hiring you and you got to do what they want you to do. And then, as long as you have that foundation down, then you can start to put in your own flavor and you can start to do, things that make your style shine a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was my very first thing, was just get their music down.
Yeah.
Whatever they sent me to learn, I learned it, and I tried to make it as spot on to what they wanted me to play as close as I could, and then start to put in my own flavor.
Yeah.
And doing what they wanted me to do is what got me in the door and what got me to being a good member of the group, and then having my Kiko flavor or whatever. That's what made them want to keep me.
Yeah.
And hopefully they still want to keep me.
Yeah. Let's pray they continue. Yeah.
Keep me. But yeah.
Yeah. How about packing essentials?
Packing
I'm a
essentials.
girl. What's your
packing
essentials?
Okay, my first tour I overpacked
Okay.
because I learned I don't need that much. Like when you we stay in buses most of the time, and so when you're in the bus, you don't have your whole suitcase available. It's all under the bays. Let's just start with toiletries, okay?
Okay.
Don't buy toiletries on Guam. First of all, they're expensive. Second of all, they make your luggage so hefty. I buy my toiletries out there now because it never needs to go in my suitcase.
Yeah.
It'll stay somewhere like on top of the bus, like in my closet. And then when I'm done on tour, it's a waste, but I throw away all my toiletries. And then I come home with more space in my suitcase. And then also I always have to take my iPad. You hate when I take my iPad.
Boo.
Yeah, I take my iPad. Recently, I moved from a Mac Mini to a laptop. I have to take my laptop now. The reason I got
iPad
the
and laptop. What?
I have to take the laptop because that's what, when I'm working with musicians here on Guam, if I'm like producing for them or if I'm even just helping them out with a project, I need to have that project on me. So I take the laptop around.
Yeah. So why do you need the iPad?
Because I watch movies on the plane and it's so easy. Yeah. I'm going to take that forever. More tour essentials. Other than my music gear, well, actually, starting with having the music gear in the conversation too, starting this year, I started bringing around 2 guitars everywhere because, man, when you snap one string and you're just like left with nothing, you can't play to the best of your abilities with 5 strings. So switch over, have a second guitar, always ready to go. Always, both of them are always absolutely ready to go. Perfect setup, perfect strings, brand new strings.
Yeah. And he also needs to be fast because you guys are playing a show.
Yeah, gotta be fast. So I always have my second guitar right next to me. If I snap a string, I just put one down, pick up the other one, plug it in, and then I'm back in on the next section.
Yeah.
More tour essentials. Underwear, obviously.
Plenty, right?
Plenty. I bring at least 14 pairs of underwear on every trip I go on.
Dang.
No, when you're gone for 2 months, bro. How often do you get to do laundry, really?
Only 14?
How long do you get to do laundry, really? But
Only?
so I still, thankfully, knock on wood, I still have never ran out of underwear on the road before getting to like a laundromat because I make it a point either go to a laundromat or the hotel. One of the hotels might have laundry.
Yeah.
Crowns, t-shirts, those are my essential clothing stuff. Yep,
Period.
that's a tour essential.
Because we all know you're a fashionista.
No, I'm not a
Oh,
fashionista.
stop.
I'm not a fashionista. No, but I also on the first tour I packed too many pairs of shoes. That filled up my suitcase quick. Now I just need 2 nice pairs of shoes that might be interchangeable for shows, and then 1 pair of shoes for load-ins and load-outs, where I can get them dirty. They're comfortable. I I can, I could play a all-star game of basketball in them, or I could, or I could skateboard around the U.S., or I could do anything. I could lift up the guitar amps that we need, or the drums. Help Elias bring the drums out. My shoes are comfortable and they're athletic.
You lift?
Zori. Oh, whatever. I don't lift. I lift spirits. Music lifts spirits. I am a lifter. I am a serial professional lifter. Zori is a tour essential. Absolute tour essential. Yeah, we can move on from tour essentials now. That's been a long one.
Okay.
Wait, what about you? You're going on tour. We're going on tour in January. So now that you hear all of the things that I think are essential.
Yeah.
She's going on tour. KPV is opening up for Eric Rachmani on his
Friends.
acoustic tour. Eric Rachmani and Friends acoustic tour. West Coast and East Coast, 10 shows. If you're seeing this, make sure you come out.
Yeah,
Check her Instagram or Eric Rachmani from Revolution's Instagram.
We'll be alongside Unified Highway, also Rick Jams.
Rick Jams,
Yeah.
So now that you hear my tour essentials, I've been on several now, and you see what I need to pack.
Yeah.
What are your tour essentials that you think you might need?
Underwear. 14.
14 of them. We're only gone for 14 days. You don't need 14.
Oh, see, but I'm so different. I'm a girl, so like I gotta bring makeup. I also gotta plan ahead my outfits for each show. Also, like what am I gonna wear in the day in the life,
It's not like content days. I
Yeah,
like content days.
days. No, but I think probably the main thing right now for me is just planning out like what are the outfits I want to wear for the shows. The makeup, my makeup is so easy here in Guam because like the weather is just so hot. It's so humid, so I don't do much. I just got to make sure I got the eyebrows, I got the lashes, I got the lipstick, I got the blush.
Is there anything that people might not guess that you need to bring that you're going to bring? Like maybe a favorite Sunny Angel or is there anything like
No,
that?
because I'm going to buy some when I'm out there.
But you're not going to bring like your favorite Sunny Angel on tour?
Maybe not my favorite because I got to stay in my vanity. I got to stay in the house. No, but I think I'm definitely going to buy another one out there. But I got to bring my vocal humidifier. Got to bring that.
There you go.
I got to bring my singing straws. Because that's another thing is I've grown up here and I've only known hot season, rainy season. I don't really know what it's like to be in the cold.
It's gonna be winter. It's January.
Yeah. So like I think I got to bring scarves to protect my neck. I also got to bring hella layers. Got to bring a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I'm going to learn about myself and my body on this run. Like I'm very excited but also nervous as well. But there's a lot of things I'm going to learn about taking care of also my voice and making sure that I get to show up for every show.
Thankfully, we have experience, as together we have experience because my first tour was a winter tour with the John Dang Show. Shout out to Frankie McJohn, John T, Danton, and Paulo for giving me that opportunity. I was doing front of house. My first tour, I didn't even play guitar.
Crazy.
I was a front of house engineer going into venues that I had never been to. I had never even seen snow at the time.
Yeah.
But I also had never seen the equipment that we were using. There's a tech rider on every venue, and I would look it up and see what kind of console they were using. And then the night before, I'd have to learn that console, how to work a whole new set of gear to make a band sound good.
Yeah.
And that's a side note, but also it was a winter tour. So it was freezing. I mean, the coldest it got was -7 in Denver.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I learned how to be comfortable in cold weather.
Yeah.
And so at least we have experience there where
At least I can take away things.
For sure.
Because especially with like the vocals, like it's just so like it's so easy to just get sick.
Yeah.
And I also gotta like
I can only
physically like everything just has to be on top of everything.
One thing I learned from Mo'oli that will help you in this tour is Glenn stays active. Like he has a routine that he follows for the most part. Like he's pretty good at it. Just staying active while on the road, because like you said, like I've seen you do here on Guam, where you need to be in shape. You need to be like before we opened for Mo'oli, you were doing jumping jacks, warming up during rehearsals.
Yeah.
Like after during sound checks, he'll be in the front like where the crowd would usually be. We're on stage sound checking. He'll be doing a workout while we're sound checking, just staying in shape, making sure his cardio is good, because he's the only one where his body is reliant, or where the performance is relying on his body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's just how it is. Like, not even when you're on tour, just as a singer, you just always have to be in shape. You always have to be taking care of yourself, because that also plays a role on breath control and being able to just like sing for a long period of time, and being able to just like, and also do it in a healthy way and not just be mediocre and just sing from your throat and yell and do whatever. Like being active really does help in making sure that the voice stays healthy. Yeah.
Talking about voices, let's go back to here. Let's be here. Okay. Who are your favorite who are your favorite acts, like local acts to see here on Guam? Yeah. Give me some of your favorite ones, because I was just thinking about this the other night, because we had just last night we went to watch a local show. I won't even say who they are, because I want to see who your like new favorite or your favorite local acts to see are.
I've always loved Local Deluxe. Shout outs to Local Deluxe. I've always loved them. It's just a 3-piece band, just guitar, vocal, bass, and drummer. And it's just like their vibe. And they're also like, it's like full in a way. Mm-hmm. Just 3 people is just full. And I love the music. I love just the energy that comes from them. I love Local Deluxe.
The goofiness.
Yeah. I learned from Local Deluxe that really you could be comfortable with like talking to the crowd. You could say some wild things, and people still think it's funny. Like people still like it. We also got to watch in bedrooms.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah, that was my first time watching them live too, and I thought that was such a vibe. Yep. They were so good. 3-piece as well, and I was like, wow, this is so. The sounds coming from them was so cool. I also like watching. Who else do I like watching? How about you? How about you?
I'm biased because I do front of house for the John Dang show. I always love watching them. I'm not even watching them when they're playing most of the time. I'm kind of working, but they have such a unique sound. I like them. When 4-piece was here, I really enjoyed watching. 4-piece.
I love 4-piece.
Yeah. I love Local Deluxe as well, but Fat Tofu is like there's no one else that plays like them, and so when I see them, it makes me excited. They have a full horn section. Jordy is a really just a straight talented human being.
Yeah,
he knows what he's good at, and he does it really good.
Yeah, I agree.
And their drummer Nuga, RJ.
Yeah,
that's how we ended up getting connected with him, is seeing him play with them, and it was like we watched him there, and that's like he's in his element when he's in.
Yeah, he kills it.
When he's in Fat Tofu, he's in his element. Like that's oh my goodness. And so I like watching Fat Tofu. In Bedrooms, another one that I had no idea I liked them.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
God, I like them. I always when all 3. I like them any variation of Tosh, but my favorite is when all 3 of the frontmen are there. When Matt, D, and Shar are there, it is so freaking cool.
For sure.
God, that's like vocal heaven. Bango.
Yeah, for real.
And the OGs, you gotta throw out like the Corporation and those guys. Mike Hartendorp, and they play like songs that people our age don't usually like, but you and I really enjoy. It's like the thing
we played in Phoenix Stage Band.
Yeah, stuff we played growing up, like Steely Dan or like Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's mainly what I wanted to cover with you on the episode. I think I don't want to give too much too, because I'm sure you're gonna be back.
I'll be back.
You're gonna be back, but I just want to thank you to Kiko for joining us here for you're our first guest here for the Dream State podcast. I thought there was no better guest to have. We've been playing together for like maybe.
Let's count. You were 11. You are now 24. 13 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We've been playing together for 13 years.
That's crazy. Yeah, and we've built like just like a chemistry on stage where we don't even need to talk. We can just know. We can look at one another and be like, yeah, we want to do this.
Yeah, baseball signs. Just.
I guess. But I want to say thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you know that the entire island is cheering for you, because I think everyone freaks out that you're with Moli, and just being a part of just watching you grow and the growth that you continue to have. And I think this episode it definitely was exciting. It was so exciting to hear your side of things, your journey, and like how.
It was nice to be here.
Bye, get him out.
Yeah, boom, that's it.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who was tuned in for this first episode of the Dream State podcast. I thought it was such a fun episode. I'm excited to see just the reactions from everyone. I want to thank Kiko for being our first guest. And if you want to follow him on Instagram, his Instagram is at kiko.yamashita. If you want to, up to you. But also please don't forget to follow Clutch Music on Instagram as well, Clutch Guam. I got an Instagram at kpv.music as well. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. And I'm so excited for what's next to come. Sizos Masi.